welcome to another episode of playonultra podcast, another episode 191. Episode 191. God damn it.
Excellent beginning.
Yeah.
Good to recover. Ooh, is it that kind of day? Because I'm having that kind of day.
So, I was really not surprised, I guess, but like, I wasn't expecting an episode 7 for Boba Fett. I thought they were just gonna do 6 episodes of everything. Because I was watching episode 6 last week, and I'm like, this is how it ends? Oh my god, right. This is like the worst episode of any TV show ever. Like, so bad. Like, just on its own, I kind of hated the episode. It was just kind of... But then I was like, this is how it ends?
I liked it more than most of the other episodes in the season, but it still just reinforces you don't want Luke Skywalker teaching your kids. He's not a good teacher.
Nope. Especially AI Luke Skywalker. That voice acting, man. Oh my god. That's really creepy sounding.
Can we call it voice acting? Voice programming? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. Yeah, I thought it was a person at first. I didn't really know, and then I heard it was that. And I was like, yeah. And so it was just more, it's less that it creeped me out and more of like when I found out the truth, I was like, damn it, no, I don't want to go down this direction. This is not what I was hoping we'd start doing. Yeah. But unfortunately, I feel like since Solo kind of flopped, there's this big fear of this idea of casting younger versions of these characters, which is just not right, but whatever.
Did it flop?
Solo flopped. Or I don't know if it was...
Comparatively.
It might have made some money, but probably didn't make the billions that Disney expects.
Right. It still made money.
They were only able to buy like 10 yachts instead of like 25.
Right. Yeah. But like comparatively to the other Star Wars movies, and it just was kind of annoying. Like we could talk all day about it, but they put it on a weird like time. It was they didn't like wait 2 years.
Doesn't it always
like
like come out? Oh, you mean like, okay. I thought when because it usually releases around Christmas time, right?
Usually it releases around December of like I think it was like every 2 years, every 1 year they had a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, they had a lot of movies
Yeah, and so this was like back to back with another one of the Star Wars movies. I forget which one.
One?
No, it was after that. I feel like it was episode. It might have been episode.
Between 2 and 3 of the new ones,
so 8 and 9, and 8 already was super controversial, and so then they have this.
I didn't hate Solo though. I thought it was okay.
No, I liked it too. But
I think Solo's my second favorite one of the new 5 after Rogue One. I like it better than the trilogy.
Yeah, I like it better than the trilogy too. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like people who watched it really liked it. But a lot of people didn't go out and watch it, like for their numbers, I mean.
I wouldn't say I really like it, just to be clear. The trilogy's a low bar.
Okay. People who tend to enjoy Star Wars movies, who honestly probably, because a lot of people did not want to see this movie. And so those who decided to give it a chance enjoyed it. Like, people who actually liked it, I didn't hear anybody who actually said they disliked it. A lot of people just did not want to see it. And so for their numbers and producers and what they choose to do in their, movie-making machine, it didn't do as well. So, in any case, did you see episode 7 then, Char, after that? Okay, yeah.
It's definitely like, episode 7 I think is my favorite episode.
Yeah, agreed.
It's like the dead of 5.
That's fair. I thought episode 7 was actually also not necessarily like a great ending, but as far as compared to all the other Star Wars TV shows, as far as a season finale, it was one of my favorites, only just because it culminates so many things.
It wasn't very cliffhangery, which was nice.
Yes, it was not. It leaves open for more things to happen, but it's not ending on a cliffhanger.
And I guess it leads into Mando 3, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it must.
People were asking, right? Is the baby gonna be in Mando 3? Pretty much.
Right.
I guess we have an answer now.
Oh, now we know.
And that episode 6 thing, I'm trying not to like make it spoilery, but everybody's watched it, right?
Yeah. I have, yeah.
Yeah, so episode 6 where the teacher asked the student to choose, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is like...
Yeah, that's such
an asshole move.
I know. I think the problem is that the writers were in a corner... I think also what was kind of hard was because of what happened in the next trilogy, because we know what happens to all the Jedi in the next trilogy. I think they just wanted an easy way to not have to answer, like, did Grogu die? So I think they needed a reason for him to leave, unfortunately. I also, if you're really deep in the Star Wars lore, there's also a decent chance that what he's going to become is going to be probably a little cooler than what he could have become with just the teacher, but we'll see. That's if you
We
care
lost
about
you, Shar,
Star
for
Wars
some
lore.
reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't hear
I can no
Shar.
longer hear you, Shar.
Okay. So
There we go.
is Grogu an actual character from like the comics or novels or something? Wasn't created for Mando?
No, he's created for Mando.
Oh.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's just created for Mando. I don't think that there was anything like him really in the comics. When George Lucas was still on staff, it was really hard to do characters of Yoda species. It had to be
There's
under kind
one
of
other that I know of.
That's from the KOTOR games. That's the only
from
other
the
one
movies,
I know.
You see him in Yaddle.
Oh, that's right.
Is
That's
the
right. That's right.
Other senator.
That's right. And Yaddle, and then also in the KOTOR games, the first one, there was another one as well.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, but really, it was kind of one of those things that you just didn't really touch as a creator, and so I don't know if there's a lot of books or stuff. I'm sure there is. But now, of course, Disney gets to make it whatever they want, so.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Mando 3 is going to be about.
Yeah.
Boba Fett was weird for me. Let's just...
He was weird.
not just the character, I mean, like, the entire show. It was, like, I don't know, he had, like, this weird relationship, family thing with the Tusken Raiders, and
yes,
they kind of tried to, like, tell us about how important they are instead of, like, being able to see it on screen. Does it make sense? Like, it's just a bunch of exposition. I think it wasn't portrayed well on screen. But it was like kind of trying to force us to like, oh, he actually loves the Tusken Raiders. Like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I think my problem with because I was trying to figure out, my big problem with the Boba Fett TV show is that they had a really easy way to do growth for Boba Fett that would not have been hard, and he doesn't really change at all. And I would argue didn't really change. And the other reason I think the whole Tusken Raider situation felt so weird, at least to me, is I didn't feel like he grew that much in the Tusken Raiders like past scenario.
It was almost like a white savior thing with the Tusken Raiders. I mean,
yeah,
he's not
you know
white,
what?
but Western savior. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that also kind of was weird too. Like I guess I will say him using the weapon at the end was really badass, but I feel like it was also kind of cheapened because of how weird those sequences were. And you're right, it did feel a little almost white saviorism kind of stuff. And I don't know. I almost wish they didn't have those parts in there, or they would have like done them differently. And again, I guess it was supposed to show like why he's not so much of like a big badass, Mandalorian bounty hunter anymore. But like the first 2 episodes frustrated the crap out of me because I felt like I was watching Boba Fett be dumb. Like, you're a bounty hunter. You know how some of this works. You know that you can't trust these people. You know that you're going to have to like throw your weight around. And he basically tries to be like, he tries the whole like, be super nice and kind to people. I felt like way too soon. I would have much preferred that he had been like almost a little more what I am like, well, almost more a little more anti-hero-esque, and then softened up.
Boba Fett in the beginning. The one
That's what everybody expected.
Yeah.
It is, and they can choose not to do that, of course. I just feel like the way it was done instead seemed off to me. It also made his last duel where he was basically told like, you're just a killer. Like, that seemed really off to me because it wasn't a true shut up Hannibal moment.
There's a lot of, especially in episode 7, I feel like there's a lot of statements that are dropped as fact. And it's like, is that true? Like, I have no idea. Like, is he a killer? We haven't really seen him do a lot of that. I mean, he killed the biker gang, I guess, but like, he's very kind in this one.
Yes.
Like another, like a more minor example would be, it's like, we can't go back to the to my palace. It's way better if we hide in this destroyed, bombed out building. And then like they never explain why. That was like a smart decision. It's just there's so many. It was so messy. It's hard to me to follow really what things were happening. Why
He could have just said.
I
Like,
enjoyed the episode.
yeah, the bad guy could have just said like, people know you're a real killer. If you're a real Star Wars fan, like I don't know. It's just
I
it's just
guess,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was cool that he showed up, though. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
Isn't he from
oh,
that
yeah, I have an action
Clone
figure of him.
Wars cartoon?
Yeah.
He's this Clint Eastwood, Star Wars Clint
It's a cool
Eastwood.
character. I like it.
Yeah.
Like him.
Yeah, no, that was a cool, like, reveal, was him showing up. I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, but yeah, like it felt like the show wanted to exist on its own, but it doesn't exist on its own. It's just,
No.
there's a bunch of lore
Feels-
around it that wasn't really touched on or like
I don't.
like
I agree with what
growing,
you're saying. I don't know that I agree that the show even wanted to stand on its own alone. Like it
That's
made
fair.
no effort to do so. I don't know that it really wanted to.
Honestly, I have no idea what the show was trying to do or trying to become.
Yeah.
Felt rushed. Felt the story and everything was just disjointed. Everything is just
we still haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett. There's no book. Whole movie. I checked.
There's no book. Yeah, and there was a little bit of the final episode. I think looked pretty good, but we talked about there's just some lack of polish in some of these scenes too.
Yeah.
It was weird. I also felt like Grogu had a lot of lack of polish. I felt like I could notice he was definitely a puppet this time.
I think they got more puppeteers because they have him walk around a lot more, and I would laugh out loud every time he walks because he just raises his feet so high. It's just like that swagger of like that kid walking in to like crash her dad's like news anchor show thing.
I know, has like no
was-
knees.
Yeah, he just
So-
pivots his whole body. And
it's like hips, feet. It's
Yeah.
hips
I
goes
don't want to
his
see
feet.
how he put on the present from Din. Like, there's no way he got that over his head. How? How did that?
do it. Oh, I wanted to know the same thing. I thought that was so funny. Yeah, it's that. So, like, I would say this show, I liked the last episode as like a cool culmination of all the stuff we were looking at. But the show itself lacked a lot of polish. I still stand by it that first episode was like one of the weakest first episodes for a Star Wars TV show I've ever seen. Still
I
stand
couldn't
by
even
it.
tell you what happened in it anymore. It was forgettable. I'm sure Tusken
was-
Raiders happened, and he was in the back of the tank. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
I
The
only
main-
remember 5, 6, and 7.
I mean, yeah, kinda, because he makes a lot of weird decisions that don't make sense. You're just like, because to me, I feel like there could have been a really easy progression where it's like he's a little too tough on things, and then it works
see,
maybe
yeah.
a little in the beginning. And then he tries to do it with the group of people. Because, like, let's be honest, his little conversation with those people, of course they turned on him. Like,
Yeah.
sorry,
I mean,
spoilers.
because the Boba Fett that exists in my head, episode 1, he fights out of the Sarlacc pit. He wakes up chained to a spike by Tusken Raiders. Like, he just kills them all. Or he tries to. Like, he doesn't... He's not like a peaceful, compliant prisoner unless he absolutely has to be. And there's a couple scenes like where, he runs away and comes back and he kind of helps us. That doesn't gel with what I think Boba Fett should be like.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him grow to that point. That would be cool, but we don't see that. He just is that way all the
They
time.
could have just made
that's
it
exactly
into
my
a mafia crime TV show in the beginning.
I don't know why he wants to be the crime lord of the Tatooine planet city.
Apparently
It's
he's
like,
tired
no part of
bounty
you
hunting?
seems to enjoy this. Like, what? Why is this your goal? Like, why do you think this is the thing you need to do now? Like, you have no particular attachment to Tatooine. I mean, maybe the Second Raiders gave you some now, but
he keeps saying it's his people though. That's the
yeah,
attachment
my
that
people.
you need,
Like,
right?
you've been here less than a year. Like,
Yeah, I know.
You're
That
not
was
from
weird.
here.
Well, because again, that could have been a really easy way to be like, well, he's going to rule it because the people who ruled it before were his captors, and so now he
Yeah.
wants it, and then grows into caring for the people.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Like mafia
only
boss
way
to
it could have
people's
worked-
champion. Like
Exactly.
The only way it could have worked, it would not have worked with the timeline. Like, he would have needed to, like, have a Tusken Raider wife and a family and, like, just really, bond with them over, like, a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... Some other choices were weird, because I actually really like the actor. I like
yeah.
how he's being portrayed. It's different, but I like it. And that actor apparently has mentioned that if they ever do like a Clone Wars-esque live
With
action,
other
he'd be happy to
clones.
play some of the Clone Wars, which I think is awesome. I love his portrayal. It's just the writing and the direction of his character was strange.
Like this is going to be a little spoilery in the sense that I'm going to get very detailed. It's not spoilery in the sense that I don't think I'm going to talk about anything that actually matters. But I think the best example I can think of how like scatterbrained the writing is so in the finale they're like, okay, you're gonna stand in this part of the city and keep an eye out. You're gonna stand in this part of the city and keep an eye out. And so they put like one Wookiee in the area of the city of the species we know he hates, which it's one guy versus a whole city, basically, section of the city, which just seems like a bad idea. Also, if you want it to be calm, don't send that guy to that part of the city. Then he gets swarmed by guys who don't shoot him. They just kind of like tackle him to the ground a little bit. Like, oh no, he got taken out. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Later on, he comes back. He runs around a corner. He's running. He's limping. His foot's completely smashed. He gets shot. It apparently doesn't matter because some people are bulletproof. Later on, he's running just fine. And like it's just like it doesn't like just the stakes. It's so hard to track like what things mattered all the time because people would get shot and sometimes it wouldn't matter. Some like I don't know. I enjoyed the episode. It was just
but I agree
messy.
with you. I agree with you. I enjoyed it a lot. I was like, whoa, through the entire thing, but it lacked polish. You know, like the rest of the episodes did.
I just didn't understand why a lot of things were happening. I enjoyed watching them happen, but I was confused almost the whole episode.
That's fair.
I could follow what was happening. I just didn't know why.
Yeah, also, that chase scene that y'all told me about. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the fuck?
Right?
I can run and chase that fucking car. Like
I know.
You know, I don't run. I'm not a runner at all.
Yeah. That was
it was so slow. What?
And then like you see when Jin comes in and with his ship and you're like, okay, so you know how to do speed. What happened? I'm so confused right now. Yeah, that was nuts. Oh, Star Wars. Obi-Wan's coming out in May, so
very soon.
Tentatively excited for that. This actually, after Boba Fett, I'm a little less excited, I will admit. But I'm a little more nervous, to be honest with you.
It's gonna be all Obi-Wan, but before he dies, Obi-Wan, that kind of thing, right?
Yes, exactly. It's gonna be after
Ewan McGregor,
episode. Yes.
Hayden Christensen is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So he just has to be on Tatooine, right? I mean, I guess we don't know what Obi-Wan gets up to. Like maybe he leaves the planet every now and then to do capers.
Yeah, it's before the Rebels, because by Rebels he is an old man and he is on Tatooine. So we don't know.
Okay, so
I mean, I wouldn't be. Yeah, so he could be on Tatooine this whole time. I agree with you. I kind of hope he doesn't stay there the whole time. That sounds boring as heck. But I imagine
I don't want to see him on Tatooine. I will be shocked if he doesn't go to Tatooine with at least once during the show.
For sure. I imagine it might be like maybe he starts there but then goes and does other things and like that's where he ends, because we know for sure by the time he's older, that's where he's staying. That's where he's, staying for a while, where, all the stuff with Darth Maul and then of course later starting with episode 4. So, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Hayden Christensen's involved, and I imagine they must meet, and that can't be on Tatooine because that would say a lot of that would raise a lot of questions about episode 4. Mainly, how did Darth Vader not know his son was on Tatooine? So, I'm curious if it's going to be kind of maybe that is what's going to be Obi-Wan trying to take Vader off the scent.
Theoretically, at the end of episode 3, Obi-Wan's not doing like a cable thing. He's not carrying baby Luke around with him. Baby Luke is on Tatooine for the whole time, but you got it. Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. We see in episode 3 him give Luke to the family. That
soon dead and gonna bite it.
Yeah, exactly. So that, and then of course, the Coruscant guy takes Leia. I hope they mention that, by the way. Exactly. So I hope they mention that whole thing. But yeah, I have no idea what it's going to be about. I'm tentatively excited, but Book of Boba Fett makes me a little nervous about that. But we'll see.
I hope they do Ewan McGregor justice, though.
I hope they do,
too.
too.
I like Ian McGregor. I like Obi-Wan.
Yes, me
Seeing
too.
more Luke stuff. This is like one of the things I dislike the most about Star Wars is the Jedi Code, and I don't want to see more Ewan McGregor spouting off like, oh, you can't love people stuff like this Luke kind of. I mean, Luke doesn't say anything, but clearly through his actions, you know, you got to pick one kind of crap. I don't like religious zealotry, I guess. Even the Mandalorian people who are like, oh, you can't take your helmet off. Like, just calm down, guys. Be cool.
I know, and I think that's always been Star Wars' thing is these like really rigid stuff and people never being able to attain to it. I totally agree with you. It is what it is. Yeah, but I hope so too. Like I wouldn't mind it if Obi-Wan maybe settled down and you know he or she had died before. I know it's going to probably be a she died before you know. Events happen. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do. Obi-Wan did have someone he loved who did die in Clone Wars, so who knows.
In the comics, Ki-Adi-Mundi actually has a kid with a Tusken Raider. Is that right? No, it's a different Jedi has a kid with a Tusken Raider, and Ki-Adi-Mundi helps them raise them.
There's gonna be an Ahsoka TV show too, right?
Yes, there is, which is going to be very interesting. I love the actress for her. So
is it gonna be like her helping set up a school?
I actually think if you don't mind a little of Rebels spoilers, I believe it's going to be about her finding Ezra.
Don't know who that is.
Okay, he's the like Jedi kid from Rebels and the ending of Rebels, which was highly controversial, including from us. And I loved the Rebels TV show, but that ending was weird.
Finished?
Yes.
Ah.
It's been done for some time.
But the Rebels is the one that comes after Clone Wars, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
It comes after episode 4, or is it before 4?
It is before 4. It's before 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Not too long before 4, but it is before 4. And because you meet Obi-Wan very briefly, and he's like old man version Obi-Wan. But yeah, there's the young Jedi there. He does I'm not going to get into it. It has to do with space whales. I wish I was joking, but I'm not.
It's like Star Trek.
There's always space whales.
Star Trek space whales.
Anyway, Ezra's with space whales to try to keep a bigger enemy at bay. And Ahsoka had promised at the end of Rebels that she would look for him. She would find him. So we're going to see how that goes. And so that's what I think it's going to be about, but I could be wrong.
I wouldn't mind having a show that doesn't revolve around a kid.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see it. In Obi-Wan, I guess they could evolve around a kid, but man, he better not be taking Luke on some random adventures when like he doesn't remember him. That would be dumb.
It's gonna be like he's gonna be like fathering him from a distance. Like, oh, Luke fell over, and Obi-Wan like lifts him back up, or like puts the ball back in his hand. You're like oh, what is happening?
I make this joke, but do you know who it would make more sense technically for him to do that with? Leia, because Leia knows who he is in Episode 4. She sends a message to try to reach him. So I assume her father's mentioned him to her, but how else would she know who he is? So he must have had some part in it, so maybe we're going to see that. Speculation!
Clear favoritism.
I know, right? But yeah. So yeah, Obi-Wan's coming in May 25th, I think it is, or end of May. And I don't know about any of the other ones, so I'm just kind of waiting until I hear that they come out at this point.
There's a brief flashback in one of the episodes of a whole bunch of KX droids with guns, like, you know, being evil. I wouldn't mind seeing more KX droids.
So the next series is gonna be Moon Knight, right?
I believe so.
Before
I
haven't
kept up with Marvel, to be honest with you.
Because they usually do a Star Wars Marvel kind of.
I could see that. I have not kept up with the Marvel stuff. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now. Yes, Moon Knight is first, and so is Doctor Strange.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. That's a movie.
That's a movie, yeah.
Forget I said anything.
Didn't know so soon.
Sorry.
That's
Moon Knight...
the trailer that you see after credits of that Spider-Man.
Yes. Right? Yes. So Moon Knight is March 30th. So yes, that's going to be before. That's the next one. So that'll be next month, and then that'll probably wrap up, and then Obi-Wan will be coming out, and then whatever. Doctor Strange is the movie coming out on May 6th. So. And then next,
I'm excited for Moon Knight. Like.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect.
Moon Knight was going to get a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
high budget one too. Jesus.
Do you
Yeah, I
prefer
know.
a show or a movie? I think I
don't
prefer a
know.
show. I go in with lower expectations.
I
It's
don't
more of a
mind- I don't
time
mind-
sink, but
I like a show.
or either. Yeah.
I don't usually I don't know enough about Moon Knight, but I have to say if they believe it must be worth a TV show, then I trust them on that judgment.
I think, in their opinion, a show is less of an investment
risky?
than a movie. Yeah, I think they don't think it's worth a movie, so they give it a show. Is their perspective. I agree with
interesting.
you though. I think a movie's more than a show because it's more content. But
right,
I don't
right.
know. But the budget
I
of
guess-
the
You
movie
you have more
usually-
time to,
or Marvel
like, build
movie
the character
is
and
bigger
all
than the
that.
budget of the show.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I guess I always thought I guess I only say that because there's so many people that'd be like, why couldn't this have been a TV show instead of a movie? But I mean,
Sure.
who knows? Maybe to producers, it's the opposite question, and we're just dumb. I don't know.
When is the Lord of the Rings thing coming out? That's been a buzz with people like, oh, dwarf females without beards, we're losing our minds.
Yeah, there's also black elves now, and
Also,
everyone's
yeah,
going
outrageous,
nuts.
so crazy.
I know.
Was this all like a recent news thing?
Yeah.
Like this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
super recent.
Okay.
There's
Let's
a new
see.
some
We're talking
images.
about it's an Amazon show, right? The Amazon one?
Yeah,
Yes.
the Power of the Ring or something of the Ring.
Yeah,
It's the
Rings of
Lords-
Power.
The Rings of Power. I was close.
Oh, Inverse is saying they're making a controversial change in Tolkien canon. Oh, whatever.
What? I don't. I guess, I mean, black people, I think, exist in Tolkien canon. I guess dwarven females in Tolkien canon are visually indistinguishable from males, so maybe that's the change they're referring to, but it's probably not.
I think actually the change, ironically, they're talking about is that they're compressing the timeline. So events aren't going to be thousands of years apart, which I have heard from a lot of fans that probably makes sense. Like, if you're going to do a TV show, yeah.
I actually didn't know this was based on existing stuff. I thought this was within the within the stuff, but completely new content.
I
mean,
think it's
I could-
based on the Silmarillion, but don't quote me on that.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
not a huge Lord of the Rings
That was
person.
one of the first books I never finished reading.
Yeah. Okay. September 2nd is when it premieres.
Oh, it's way far away. Okay.
I had to get to the bottom of the article.
Yeah, with the information you care about at the end.
Exactly. But yeah, so yeah, that is coming out. But yeah, there was just a recent hubbub just because they showed some clips and yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
People need to calm down. The guy's dead.
And he was also super against Nazis and racism.
Yeah, exactly. So
He had his own problems, but that I don't think that was one of them.
he was a little. I've heard some people talk about potential anti-Semitic, but that's a little. I don't
that
know.
as well.
But I don't. It's one of those
I don't
things
remember
where
why.
I don't know. I don't know. We could talk about a dead man all day, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
whatever.
So
He doesn't get to say anymore, so fuck him.
yeah, exactly. Now it's his grandson, son. Who's in charge of his legacy at this
Oh,
point?
yeah, good question.
I think it's his grandson. I think he's old.
But wouldn't it be in the public domain now, or that 70 years thing? Like, what's happening? Like, I don't really understand the laws, to be honest.
Oh, I don't either, but I'm pretty sure it's not public domain, but I could be wrong because I think they're able to remain it.
I think it takes a real long time because I think I just saw
I thought
something
70
about,
years
like,
was
some-
the threshold. But I guess then Mickey Mouse would be public domain, but it's not, right? So
Has it been?
Yeah,
70
well, there's
years?
because I believe there are ways to
It has been 70 years.
I could be totally wrong. I feel like there are ways to keep. You know what it is? Please don't quote me on this, but I feel like if you start using the IP as the person holder of it, you get to extend the IP. I think there's something about that. I only say that because that's what people are accusing Disney of doing with the live action remakes. That they're doing that so that they can extend the IP on certain shows and movies that they have. Don't quote me on
The
that, though.
reason the goes into public domain thing is so long is already because of Disney just legislating
Oh, yeah.
to get it extended repeatedly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure.
yo, watch Peacemaker. Last episode
Yeah,
next week, right?
current.
Oh, Peacemaker is so good, Sarah. You should watch it.
I've heard it's really good. I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just we
It's
usually watch
it's
things
definitely
together.
your thing. I would say it's your
Yeah.
thing.
I'm not surprised. We just have not sat down and watched it.
You like weird DC, right? I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
You
for
should
sure.
watch Doom Patrol. Did you watch Doom Patrol?
No, I didn't do that either. We didn't watch
weirder
a ton of
DC.
It's weirder and grosser.
Yeah. And Brendan
That's
Fraser just
fair.
says fuck all the time in that show. I'm watching
That's
season 3
hilarious.
now, so like season 3 is definitely better than season 2, I would say.
Okay.
What is DC stuff on now?
Doom
the
Patrol
serv-
is HBO.
It's
and
HBO.
Peacemaker
Okay.
are both HBO.
I think that's why we haven't, because we used to have DC Universe, and then when that got merged into HBO, we had so many other
Oh,
things we didn't really do
got
HBO
merged?
as well. I thought so.
Oh. So DC Universe is not a thing anymore?
I don't think it is. I think it got merged.
So previous subscribers of DC Universe had to get a HBO subscription instead?
I think so, and I think that was the problem that we had.
Was it more expensive? Is it like
I think at the
probably.
time it was more expensive and we had other things we were focusing on. And the reason that we had DC Universe at the time was for Harley Quinn and Young Justice. And then those shows ended. And so we just didn't re-up this. So we stopped the subscription and then we just haven't re-upped it since.
So wait, is it like a partnership thing? Nobody bought anybody over, right?
I
Is it
don't
just a partnership?
I think it's a partnership. I don't really... Oh, wait, no, this still says it exists then. Okay, I'm a little... Wait, no, 3 years ago. I'm confused.
Nah.
I'm confused.
Basically,
Maybe
Doom
it
Patrol
is.
is on
Maybe it
HBO. And
Okay.
in Doom Patrol Season 3, the Dead Boys Detective Agency shows up. And, it's like a couple of dead boy ghosts that do supernatural crime solving. And I like them. They're like a cool, like just funny and all that. And I looked them up. And apparently they're going to do a separate TV show for HBO. But with different actors from the one that Doom Patrol had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do you use the same actors?
I don't know. We don't care about the
Grace.
universe, right?
Oh, fun fact. The Eagly, Peacemaker's pet eagle, is voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who does all the clones in the animated clone things.
Oh my gosh,
Had a
that's so
voice?
funny.
He gets the... That's all D. Bradley Baker.
Why
That's
did they
so
have to use a person for eagle
I don't know why
sounds?
they didn't just have a library of eagle sounds they could have
Why
used.
did Disney hire Alan Tudyk to do the chicken sound in Moana?
Originally, I think he had lines, and then they wrote no lines. He's like, I'm still going to do it. And they're like, okay.
That is what happened with Alan Tudyk, so yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. I think
Alan
they
Tudyk's,
wanted more.
Season 2 of Resident Alien right now, too, is also pretty good.
Resident Alien?
Resident
you mentioned
Alien,
that.
yeah. It's based on a
Feel like you
comic
mentioned that before.
about an alien who crashes to... He comes to Earth to kill everybody, and he takes over the... He basically kills a guy and takes his form, and then kind of just like integrates himself with society and decides not to kill people.
Fair enough.
But it stars Alan Tudyk as the alien.
Nice.
Peacemaker's really good. That one
Yes.
is a much better TV show than Boba Fett. Like, not even close.
I know. We'll have to. There's so many shows. Like, that's the hard part. Is like we just kind of get into a pattern of, oh, we should watch this, and then if we haven't, it's like in the back burner. We don't think about
Yeah.
it, but I
Like,
think
every
we will
Wednesday,
eventually.
It'd be like Peacemaker, Boba Fett, and Resident Alien. And I'd watch them. Peacemaker, Boba Fett, Resident Alien in that order.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll just need to get on that. But yeah, no, I hear it's fun. I did watch and have been watching the Adventures of Vox Machina, which is the Critical Role animated series for their first campaign. Pretty good. I did not watch anything of Critical Role. I am not a huge fan of watching tabletop games live. I play them. I'm not a huge fan of watching them. I don't have the attention span. But the TV show is pretty good if you're curious. It's very like Harley Quinn level of violence and sex in cartoon form. So just be aware of that.
That's a good pitch.
Yeah. It's very
Oh,
adult.
another thing. Vox Machina, The Adventures of, I think.
Adventures of Vox Machina. That's the Dungeons and Dragons. Still technically was Pathfinder, but nobody
I
cares.
keep wanting to call it Vox Populi, which is the bad guys from Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, I keep wanting to Deus Ex Machina because of the term and the game, I guess, but the term too. But yeah, this is the Critical Role's tabletop, their first season tabletop game that they had done years ago. This is like animated version of it. If you play tabletop games, I'm a huge person who plays D&D and other tabletop games. It's fun because you can kind of see where like it's very... I will say that if you don't know anything about tabletop games, the way that it's portrayed might seem a little bit off. But if you know anything about it, it feels like a D&D group trying to go through an adventure, but it's fun. And I was just saying is that the sex and violence is like Harley Quinn levels. So if you can handle that, you can handle this. I'd actually say almost a little more graphic.
Some complaints about the latest Critical Role campaign?
Yes, I don't keep up with Critical Role. I don't watch Critical Role. Nothing against it. It's just I don't like watching people's live tabletop games.
So I think the latest complaint is because the latest campaign is gonna be inspired. I fucking hate that word.
Inspired.
Yeah, inspired by Southwest Asian and North African cultures, and the entire cast looks white.
So yeah, the entire cast has been the same, I think, except for 1 to 2 members since the beginning.
Okay, it's been the same? Okay. So
for
wouldn't
pretty
all
much
the campaigns have problems then?
So this has been huge...
I mean, just from the... Okay, so not just from a playing, like, what is inspired by, but also just the fact that they're all, Like, we complain about a new indie studio that has just a bunch of white guys in it. So why is this complaint coming up now?
Because now I would say people... So I'll try to explain the internet's discussion as best I can. Basically, this game Critical Role did start as a bunch of, it's Matt Mercer, he's a voice actor, and a bunch of his voice actor friends playing D&D, essentially, and recording it. And then after a while, they started working in production and got it really big. It kind of took off, and they worked on making it take off. You know what I mean? Like, they were doing some branding, and it did take off. It's one of the most subbed shows on Twitch now. So now there's this competing argument of it's like, it started with a group of friends, which if you play tabletop, yeah, you want to play with people that you trust. There's that element of it. But there's also but it's a production now. Like, you don't have an excuse to not have people of color in your cast, and there's plenty of people of color that are not recognized in the tabletop scene and things like that. So it is this kind of tension in that way.
Gradual, because it became from like just a bunch of friends hanging out to like now it's an actual production, and they have a fucking cartoon based off the campaign one. Even.
Exactly.
Okay.
So wherever you lie on the argument, it's kind of, but like that's kind of where all this is coming from. In tabletop games, one thing that's also really difficult, that's hard to navigate to the general public, tabletop games, I mean, you're playing whoever you want to play. And so in a private setting, you kind of do what you want to do. There's a tabletop game I enjoy that I would probably never play live because I could see how some people would be put off by it. It's basically it's a setting that's basically meant to make like magical Japan. And it's really fun, but definitely was created by white people. And definitely wasn't created at first with the utmost sensitivity. Later editions have done better, but like you are still basically playing in magical Japan. But it's super fun. But I also like but that's okay because I'm home and I'm with other people. But I'm not putting it online in a production. So it becomes that weird boundary of like, this is kind of a private game that we are looking into, but it's also now a production. So should they be doing things differently? So, and it's, I don't think the answer is super simple, but it is one of those, it's why it's causing so much controversy right now. So... But the show's pretty fun. If you, like I said, it's a TV show. It is more graphic. Like I said, I will say if you don't really know anything about like tabletop games, especially D&D, it might be a little off-putting just because you're expecting like a fantasy show. And the jokes seem a little not fourth wall breaking, but almost feels like they should be like in a Marvel Avengers kind of fourth wall breaking moments. And it's fun if you know how tabletop games work, but if you don't, it might be a little off-putting. So just come into that with that in mind if you're not expecting it. But so far, it's pretty fun.
And they voiced them, right?
I think so. I
see Laura Bailey, Matt Mercer, Ashley Johnson.
Yeah. They have a lot of, they got like all their voice actor friends in on the actual show, which is fun. So David Tennant's going to be coming in at some point on one of the big baddies, I think. I can't, Gray
David
Deluxe.
General Krieg.
Yes. We haven't met him yet. Gray Deluxe, who's, known as Azula, comes in and just plays adult Azula. So that's great. But yeah, it is dark. I hear it's only going to get darker, so if you're kind of be prepared for that too, I guess. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. If you're at all curious, I'd give the first like 3 episodes a shot, and if you're curious, then continue watching. We're gonna watch it, but just have to know kind of how the space looks to understand it a little bit.
I just shared like the reading material for this is the one from Kotaku. That's the one I saw.
Yes. Yep. Yeah,
not written by a Kotaku writer, by the way. Written by Jenna Yo.
I don't know where.
Developer. They're doing a Spirit Swap. I'm not sure if you know that game. It's like a match 3 gay as hell. So it's not out yet. No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Not soon. I follow one of the devs. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a little. It is definitely one of those tough things. I have a feeling after this this season we're gonna see some changes within Critical Role. I think they're gonna realize that they really can't do it the way that they're doing it if they're gonna continue to be a production. They're gonna have to swap some people and be very mindful of how they're doing their
So like
scenes.
I recently, for whatever the fuck reason, well, my friend recommended me to watch Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
So,
I heard the TV show is awful.
I watched like 2 or 3 episodes.
I don't know why I kept watching it, but I literally cannot point to any saving grace. Like I didn't really like the characters, the lore, and the setting was just kind of whatever. But I just kept watching it for some reason. And
it's also visually weirdly clean.
And I wasn't expecting so many like boom powers too. Like there was a lot of that. It's an Amazon production, so probably they had a budget.
Yes.
Maybe.
I never read the books, but
yeah. So it's like
all the books at one point.
And it's very, to me, for me at least, I thought it was quite clear that it is and inspired by, that's why I hate the word, inspired by like very Asian Eastern stuff, not just like Eastern Asian, but also like South Asian and all that. And it's just like very inspired by all that shit and like kind of viewed from the eyes of a white guy.
Okay.
It was just weird. You have all these white people saying weird words and
oh, okay.
And it's very, I can see where he got inspiration from, like what culture is from. It's very clear.
Okay.
Like the writer who's dead, so whatever. So like,
yeah,
I can clearly see it. And when I saw it, I was like, it's one of those, isn't it? So I asked my friend, it's one of those, isn't it? And she said, yeah, it's just one of those. But yeah, it was just, I don't know why the fuck I watched it. I don't know why I finished it. Whatever. I don't think I'm going to watch season 2 if there ever is going to be a season 2.
I would be very surprised if there is at this point. The reception the TV show got was
it was that bad?
Awful.
Oh, okay.
I mean, from what I understand, I never read the books. I had several friends that love this series, like grew up on this series, and were super looking forward to the show. They loved some of the decisions they made and casting and all that stuff. And then they watch the show and they are lambasting it. So I don't know. I don't know what they did wrong because I don't know anything about. As far from like a book reader's perspective, I don't know what was wrong because
I don't know that they adapted anything that poorly. I don't think the books. I mean, I like the books as a child. I don't think they hold up if you look at them with the eyes of an adult.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe that was the problem too. I don't know. It's kind of like trying to read Harry Potter minus the transphobia issues. But yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Because, minus the transphobia with J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter is also one of those books that as a child is very important. And then you read as an adult and you're like, this is
here's
weird.
My hot take. Snape is a more deplorable character than Dolores Umbridge. That's
Ooh, I like that take though. Okay.
I just don't like Snape apologists because this is not the most compelling argument, but I was actually re-listening to a Harry Potter audiobook recently, and in the first book, there's a very small detail. There's like, holy fuck, that's screwed up. Where as punishment, it's like Neville, he's got his pet toad. Like it's like his only friend because Neville's like a loser for some reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And as punishment, Snape makes him clean frog guts for like all night from the inside of a cauldron. It's like, how would you like it if I had to go and clean bunny rabbit guts like for a night? You know, like imagine your pet's innards. Like it's just so cruel. Like I don't know you can come back from that. There's no redemption.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could go on all day how I do think the problem with trying to read Harry Potter as you're older is it's meant to be from, like, a childish mind. Like, just even from, like, Harry's beginnings. Like, I remember reading Harry's beginnings as a child. I was a child, and I didn't think of it as, whoa, that's hella traumatic. I thought it was, oh, look at this poor boy. Yeah, his family doesn't think he's cool, and he's feeling really different and stuff, and then he gets to go to this magical school. That's awesome. Like, as a kid, I was like, yeah. And then you read it as an adult, and you're like, wait, they put him in a broom closet? Excuse me? You know what I mean? And so it really just does not hold up, you know, and some of those stories just don't. And I guess I'm hearing that Wheel of Time might be a similar thing. And I am wondering if that's maybe coloring some people's perspective as they see the show. I don't know.
Yeah. I think in Harry Potter, the issue is a lack of like subtlety, which is what you need for children. In Wheel of Time, I think there's a bit more subtlety, but I still wouldn't call it subtle. But there's like this weird, like there's things that you don't think about. Like one of the big mechanics in Wheel of Time is you have the magic users, and they do this thing where they bond people to them, and it's consensual, but it's still weird. Like it's still like this weird, like they become like symbiotic kind of. Not physically, but like they can sense where each other's are, and even have kind of like an emotional telepathy. And there's like, so you can combine that with a bunch of horny teenagers, and like it just gets real weird. Like there's literally a scene in the book where like this woman has bonded two other women to herself, and then she goes and has sex, and there's like, don't let the like we're so embarrassed now. It's like we're looking through the window at her. It's like this like who like this old man's just like needs to take a cold shower when he's writing this. Like just calm down, man. Like,
Got it.
It's just I don't know, weird old writing stuff.
Yep.
It's not even that old. I'm not sure how old Wheel of Time is. It came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah, like early 90s. Yeah.
Like the first one, I mean, because it came out for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. We had the books. They were always in my brother's room. I never picked them up myself.
They're big. They're like 1,000 pages each or something like that. There's so many characters. As the first book I read, where you would jump perspectives from chapter to chapter, and it's like, I don't. It's like half of these I just want to skip them.
Yeah. It speaking of childhood books turning into shows that we may or may not like, are you guys familiar with the Ugly series by Scott Westerfield? It was kind of a young adult dystopian. Okay, that's okay. So basic premise, it was one of the not first, but it was kind of one of the big heralds of what we think of when we think of young adult fiction back in the day. It had this you had I would say when you think of the tropes, that this was one of the books that kind of started some of those dystopian YA novel tropes. But basic premise is there's this girl who lives in this utopian world where you're born and you're kind of put in this general school with everybody, but when you turn 16 you get to go to Prettyville. You get to have a big surgery where you turn gorgeous and beautiful and live in just hedonistic paradise until you finally settle down, go to the old people's suburbs, have a kid, and that kid gets put back in the school and it goes through all over again. And so the book kind of basically goes through her adventure of realizing that this supposed utopia is not very utopian. It has a lot to do with surveillance kind of stuff and government control. And that and free will kind of stuff. So it's very interesting. It was one of my first YA novels as a kid. I ate it all up. I loved it. And they are, I guess, I almost missed the announcement. The only reason I even saw the announcement was because back when I was a high schooler on Facebook, and you showed your interest by following pages, Facebook pages of things. I had followed the Uglies, Facebook page. And there's a Netflix movie that's coming out. They just finished wrapping up in December of filming, so now it's in production. So yeah, that's a thing. Definitely just gonna kind of play it by ear. I'm not one of those that's really super like, oh my man, I can't wait to see my childhood into a film. But we'll see. It's on Netflix, so it might be decent quality, but I will reserve all judgment until I see it. So that's fun.
I'm just reading the like synopsis premise thing.
Oh, for Uglies?
Yeah, for Uglies, yeah.
I think the only YA dystopic thing I've read was The Hunger Games. I didn't do Maze Runner. I'm not quite dystopic, but I didn't do Percy Jackson either.
I did a lot of my YA fiction was like books that a lot of people, like as far as like the groups I hung out with, didn't really read. Because like Hunger Games was actually, I only read the first 2 books. I got kind of not interested by the second book.
I read them in college, so I wasn't even I wasn't even the target audience anymore. I don't know why I read them.
I was like early college, so I was still like kind of at the cusp of being the target audience, but just barely. But I just didn't find it as interesting as some of the YA novels I read as a teenager. So I was like, whatever.
My teenage book is definitely, I read all of the Animorphs.
My brother got really into Animorphs. Talk about a messed up ending, by the way.
That was the most disappointing finale of all time, I think. I can't think of anything worse. I remember reading the afterword when the author's like, I wanted the Animorphs to go out like how they came in, fighting. I'm like, no! Like, don't give, like you gave us less closure than any other moment in this series. Like, it was so bananas.
Oh, yeah.
Very dumb.
Yeah, she still stands by I mean, people now at this point are like proud of that, but like proud of that, like, you know, look at this, you know, children's author who is willing to take a stand and show the cruel realities of things. And I can just imagine all these kids like 10 years ago were like, this sucked.
Yeah, boo.
Boo. Anyway.
I don't know if the ending did that anyway.
I remember something vaguely about Animorphs, like a recent thing. And some of the actors, I think, wants to do a reboot or something.
From the old show. I never watched the show.
Yeah.
I didn't have cable.
That's nuts.
I remember playing a PC Animorphs game where it was most of the game was like, you're in this level on rails, you're an animal, so it's like a dodging game, like navigate the sewers as a fish, or fly, like, or run across the rooftop as a monkey or whatever.
Yeah.
And occasionally there'd be combat, which was like just hitting like up, down, left, right to like cast your attack, and like
wow.
It was turn based, but you had to like do combos to actually like execute certain moves. It wasn't easy for me at that age. I remember struggling a lot.
There's actually been a couple Animorph games. There's one I saw in like it was like a Games Done Quick thing, and that was a weird like RPG kind of 2D style that was strange, where basically you had to collect Animorphs like Pokemon, which is strange. And then there was one we had for the PlayStation that was 3D side scrolling, and it was not good. You picked as one of the 4 characters, and you got to like transform into that character's animal for, you know, a set amount of time, but you could very easily die and had to start over. So yeah, I don't know about that one.
It was like the game I played was like early enough in video games where it's like, well, it's not a long game, so it has to be a hard game.
Exactly. Yep. The Nintendo hard.
Yeah. There's no checkpoints.
Ugh.
So yeah, I don't know how we started talking about Animorphs, but yeah, okay.
Well, topic of
We
Pokemon.
spent childhood.
Arceus seems to be being well received.
Yes.
How's it pronounced?
Arceus, I have no idea.
I think it's Arceus, but I feel like I thought it was Arceus, but someone
it was Arceus
more
too.
official.
Oh.
But someone more official said it was Arceus, but I don't
Really?
know. God,
Come on.
I don't know. I'm gonna say Arceus. It sounds better.
Damn Japanese mode. Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
alternate.
Exactly. My brother's been playing it. He says it's super fun. I'm tempted to pick it up myself.
Yeah,
it looks
I was not
really
I am not in a Pokemon mood. Like I got
Yeah.
I got Shining Pearl
That's
or
fair.
Brilliant Diamond or whatever, and I played like 2-3 hours of that, and I'm just like, I'm not in a Pokemon mood right now. So I didn't get Legends because I usually get them like day one, and I'm like, I didn't get Legends. But I'm hearing all these like a lot of new things. They actually did new things.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
I'm
very
like,
different game.
Yeah. So it sounds really cool. And like the battles are really fast and everything.
I've heard they're also hard. Like you actually have to pay attention. Or like rather,
yeah, I've heard
it's
people
hard in the
say
sense
when,
that
like,
level isn't sufficient because
Yeah.
type advantage is insanely huge now.
yeah,
So
Got
like a
it,
Pokemon
yeah.
10 levels below your Pokemon can like one shot it if the type advantage is in its favor.
yeah, which is not a thing in
Interesting.
Yeah,
Makes the
which
rock
is
paper
cool.
scissors
Yeah.
a little harder. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how I feel about it. It's not immediately bad or good.
No, it just depends on your style. It is different. They did something different.
Finally.
And, yeah, finally. So, I mean, that's awesome.
I'll probably get it.
And I guess,
eventually.
yeah, and I guess they also are answering questions about Pokemon lore that I'm not sure if we needed, but I guess we did.
Did you see that controversial one about?
I don't know if I saw the controversial one. Which one?
Oh, I mean, it's controversial in the sense that midichlorians are controversial. It was some NPC who's like, did you know that Pokeballs don't shrink Pokemon? They just
Yes,
all
that's
Pokemon can just innately shrink themselves, and that's what they
That's what
do
I'm
to get
talking
into
about.
balls. Which is like, what? Like, why
What?
would you explain it that way? It's
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. Yes, exactly. Like, what?
there's no reason. It's just the dumbest explanation. You picked the wrong timeline.
Yeah, I know. Ugh, whatever.
Very
But yeah.
silly.
Very, very, very silly. But whatever. But yeah, lots of the main thing that people are ragging on it is the graphics are bad, which
I've heard it's the best. They're like a very fun PlayStation 2 game. It's like
yeah.
PlayStation
headline for it.
people do not remember what games looked like back then.
That's true.
I know, right? Yeah, I think the main reason people are upset is because I don't know if it uses the same engine as Breath of the Wild, but there's a lot of comparisons to it, and it just looks
Because it's
worse.
green. So like, oh, it has
I've just been
green
seeing
in
the
it.
meme where it's like Arceus is restricted by the hardware of the Switch, followed by like a screenshot of like Breath of the Wild or Luigi's Mansion or something that has
Right.
allegedly better lighting.
It's probably using the same engine as Sword and Shield. That would make more sense, right?
Something like that. I'm not really sure. Sorry, I was just given a plate of fries, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, the main thing that I saw that people were making fun of the graphics, which again, I just don't really care, was the water. The way they did water was, it doesn't look good. They could have done better.
Oh.
I don't know if I really care.
Are there new Pokemon in this one?
I don't.
New to this game?
They
never
have like a
before in game?
region thing,
Uh-huh.
like new region forms, I think, of existing Pokemon.
Okay.
I believe so.
I don't need new Pokemon. I was just curious because I don't think I've seen any new ones.
I haven't heard of new ones, but I will be honest with you. At this point, they could have shown an old Pokemon from like a couple generations ago,
Right.
and I would have thought it was new.
So this group I work with is trying to put together a Pokemon themed sketch show. And so I've been brainstorming like Pokemon ideas, and a lot of my ideas are puns. And it's like I really can't I don't have any like name recall for any Pokemon beyond like Gen 3. Like I'm like I know there's a Keyring Pokemon. I know there's Trubbish, but like I have to like Google like dog Pokemon. Oh, Poochyena. Okay, whatever. Like I don't know. I just don't have it in my head, which is good. I'm thankful my head doesn't have too
I
many
know.
Pokemon in it. It already has too many.
Oh my gosh. There's this, sorry, side tangent, but this is really funny. My brother and I, when we were growing up, we used to do like home videos all the time. Like a lot of people I think did if you had a video camera. There was this video. I couldn't be more than like 6 years old. And he's pretending, we're doing like a pretend play of a Pokemon class where my brother's like asking me questions. I'm not joking. He literally goes, "What Pokemon is number 15?" I don't know what the answer was, but I said the right answer. And I was like, what? I like watched this like years later. I was like, excuse me?
So what was number 15? Do you remember now?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Because I think the first three, it's the Charmander, then the Squirtle, and the Bulbasaur evolution, and then the Pidgey evolution. And then I used to have like the 150 on like a poster in my bathroom, so I just stare at it when I would poop. And so it's like in my head, kind of.
My brother, that's probably how I had it memorized. My brother used to have a poster of the original 151 on his door. And so we also, I think that's how I also got it memorized as
You
well.
pooped in front of his door?
No, two different things. But anyway, but yeah, it's that was crazy. But yeah, no, I can't remember I don't know any Pokemon past, like, I had played X and Y, so I knew some of the new ones there, but I couldn't tell you. I was like, oh, this is all just from the newest generation. I'd be like, no, that's generation 4, 5. I'm like, I don't know. They're all the same.
I like how it looks.
Like,
Because it's supposed to be like a prequel, right? It's like a feudal Japan looking, like, it looks cool.
Ah.
Yeah. It's like a prequel. So a lot of technology is not really there yet or something. So it has like
absolutely
people wearing a lot of like traditional. It looks cool.
Yes,
looks really cool. And there's like sneaking and then actually throwing the Pokeballs and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like I have to get it now. Fuck. Jeez.
It seems likely I'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
There's this hilarious video someone showed early on. I guess certain Pokemon you can find, like, I don't know if they're just ultra powerful or they're rare or something, but they're like harder to fight. They're like they're like kind of like a higher level or more extreme version of that Pokemon or something. So there's a Snorlax one. And someone so funny. Somebody had this video where they were trying to like throw Pokeballs at this Snorlax, and I guess you can tell when it's like that because it looks at you with this like evil red eyes at you and then charges. And so because you can get hurt by the Pokemon and you have to use your Pokemon to defend yourself. And I guess there's this. So he's trying to run away from the Snorlax, and it cuts, and he puts out like a Piplup or something on the field, and the Snorlax uses his Hyper Beam, and it's just this gigantic blast at the Piplup. You just see a little Piplup like burning up in it.
It's like, have you seen that comic where it's like Pikachu and it's like Wailord used Body Slam? She's like, oh, it's this huge like shadow just like descends on the Pikachu.
So funny, so bad, but so funny.
That's really funny. Snorlax is my number one favorite Pokemon, I think.
I finished It Takes Two. You all know that game, right?
By yourself?
No, you can't play by yourself.
Oh,
play with somebody. Yeah. So it is a 100% strictly co-op game, and it's fucking amazing, yo. It's really good. Highly recommend playing it. You need a friend. But everybody's here. y'all two are married, so y'all should play it. Like, I would say it's not like the easiest game, especially for people who are not very used to like playing action-y, platformer-y type games. But it's okay. It's not like super tough, but like you'll probably take like retrying a few levels a few times.
Did you play Unravel at all?
Which one is that?
It's a co-op platforming game where you play two like
yarn
people
tethered
by a piece of yarn. Okay, because I played that one, so I was asking.
I've been wanting to play that one.
It seems good. I've only played it for like half an hour, so I didn't get very far.
There's even a sequel. I think I have both, but I just haven't played it yet.
I think I only have the sequel, maybe.
Okay. But yeah, It Takes Two is so good. Like, it's so
okay.
There's like so many different. Like, you know the premise, right?
No.
Two people got like not shrunken down, but like their souls or whatever.
Tiny people.
Yeah, went into dolls or whatever, and then they have to find a way to become human again or get into their bodies. So the dolls are small, so you'll be playing all these. I love the concept of like you playing in just a normal household, but you're really small. Like, I just love that concept. So it's that.
I do like that.
It's that plus fantasy elements, and it's just. Every level has different mechanics because you get different things. So like there's an snow level. There's like a toolbox level. It's just so good. You have to play it. Like, it's a must play. It's a must play. I definitely understand why it's the game of the year for so many people now. And I would say it's definitely the best written game so far from Forest. So yeah. So you know who made It Takes Two, right?
I'm not sure.
Can't recall, but I remember it was somebody I recognized.
The studio made A Way Out.
Bad.
The two brothers in prison, and also Brothers of Tale of Two Sons. That one, yeah.
Right.
So he's like super into the whole like cooperative kind of thing. Or like Brothers, where you control two people, I guess.
So I've only played the prison one, and you like a spoiler alert at the end. You have to fight, and one of you kills the other. And then you get a different ending
Depending who wins.
Depending on who wins.
Okay.
And I think one of the endings is definitely better than the other. Like, I think one of the people deserves to die more than the other people. Fortunately, I was the one who should have won, and I was on a mouse and keyboard, so I just destroyed my friend who was on a controller.
Was it like a fighting game or?
You have guns.
Oh, okay.
It's like a third-person shooter.
Okay. So yeah, this one.
You can also box, and it's mostly QTEs though. Really, okay. It's like a multi-stage fight.
So this one is like, so you play 2 characters, and each character will have like their own tools depending on the level, or their own abilities depending on the level, and you got to work together to either fight bosses or to solve puzzles, and it's just, oh my god, so good. And it's 15 hours. It's not like a super short game or anything.
That's pretty long.
Yeah, it's pretty decent actually. Give or take about 12 to 15, and then it's pretty linear. The only things that you can find in the levels that are considered side stuff are these mini games, and the mini games are also pretty fun. Not all of them, but most of them are pretty fun. And the mini games, you're like a versus kind of thing. You try to win against your partner. And the cool thing, like A Way Out, only one person has to own the game. So
cool.
The person I played with, she owned the game. I didn't. I just had to download the friend pass, and I was able to play with her online. Like, she's in Canada, so that was it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Why did my camera turn off? Take it over.
I was gonna say your camera just went black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been blinking. I think it's just really hot in this room. I thought I turned it down so it would run. I'm gonna switch cameras to my crappier camera. I thought I switched it so it would run at a lower frame rate, but maybe I didn't.
So yeah, It Takes Two is definitely a must play. Sarah, you should play with your wife. And
I'll try.
play with your wife too. Jesus, must play it. It's so good.
Okay.
And it's like 50% off a lot of times on Steam and all that, so it's pretty cheap. So
Good to
that was the highlight, I would say, the past month. Other than that, I played a little bit of a game called Lake. I'm not sure if y'all know about that. It's an indie game.
No. Okay. Sounds like a walking simulator. Is it a walking simulator?
I thought it was a walking simulator. It's a third person narrative style game where I think I haven't played that far into it yet, but there's like people you can meet and apparently relationships you can build, and you also play as, she basically, like, from the city went back to hometown for a couple weeks for a little bit and is doing a temporary postal office job. So you drive a postal, like, those van with the parcels and stuff in a small little town. So you pretty much go back to it. You're like mid-40s or something. So you go back to a town with like a bunch of old people, and all that. And I think at the end of it, you have to make a decision of staying or going back to the city, that kind of thing. So walking simulator, but with some gameplay.
It sounds like a more pleasant, what's the name of that game? The Kojiro game.
Oh, Death Stranding?
Yeah, it sounds like a more pleasant Death Stranding.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, if you want to take it into that whole part. I love Death Stranding though. It's such a weird, I don't know, I love weird, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
it is weird.
Yeah, it is very weird.
From what I've heard.
Yeah. And scary too. That freaking game is like scary.
It is uneasy. It is uneasy.
I've been told I'd like it, but I'm like, it looks too scary. I heard it's not that scary. I'm like, I don't know if I believe you.
If I can play it, I think you can play it, because I hate horror. Like, I hate horror. So if I can play it, I definitely had moments where I had to be very slow.
Ever played? BioShock 1 was pretty scary.
BioShock 1 was pretty
scary. I played
scary.
Amnesia a little bit, but not
I
not
almost
enough.
finished Amnesia. It was a game I was kind of playing with my ex, actually. That's why I never finished it, because my...
Is it a co-op game?
No. It's just that my ex was a huge scaredy cat, but wanted to know the story. And so I had to play, and he had to provide emotional support. And I think we got very close to the end, but then we never played it again, and we broke up, and I just haven't tried it since.
I was only playing it because
right?
somebody wanted to watch me play it, and so I played it while they were watching, and then we never did it again.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably. I don't play a lot of scary games. I watch a lot of scary games, for sure. I'm trying to think if there was any other scary games I've. Oh yeah, duh! I never finished it. I actually have episodes of this. I had tried to play Alien Isolation.
Oh, my
that
gosh. Yeah.
that was not easy. I
Is
still don't
Alien
think I can finish that
Isolation
game.
the one with the mechanic where your microphone can be on and they can detect your sound?
I think so.
Right? Yeah.
I had it off,
Yeah,
but
the
I
alien
think it
can
did have
detect
that.
like the noises you make through your microphone and know where you
I
are.
think I had that. I think I had that off when I was
And-
playing, but I think that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, that,
You can play
I
mechanic.
believe. I'm not sure if it's Alien Isolation, but I feel like it is. Or a game like that. I was watching a video of this guy. He farted and got killed by the alien. that was. I'm not sure if it was staged or whatever, but it was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
It is.
I mean, my wife plays Phasmaphobia like all the time now. To be fair to Phasmaphobia, like it is one of those games that like once you played it enough times, it's more of a challenge, and you can get scared.
That's
but,
the one
like,
where it's like
more
a
of
random try to get out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Like a
Basic-
deadly escape room.
It's actually not an escape room. What it is that you have to figure out what kind of ghost is there, and so you have to go in and out of the house a bunch, and you get like clues and stuff, and then you can leave.
It's a co-op game, right?
It is a co-op game. Yep.
It's
You
a
play
pretty
with four
hot, like
people.
it was at one point
Yeah,
quite a
it's-
hot streamer's YouTube
Yes,
game.
it's still kind of hot for a few streamers, but yeah, it was like there was a craze for it for some time that
Yeah, I
probably
remember-
just
yeah,
recently
I remember
ended.
something like that. Yeah, never
Yeah.
watched it though.
Oh,
Too fuck. Is it scary? Sounds scary.
Ah,
I'm guessing it's randomly generated houses and stuff.
it's randomly generated. I would say it's more of like a jump scare kind of scary, less of an uneasy scary.
I hate both. So like,
Yeah, so like that's the only thing. Like if you're watching someone who's really good at it, you're probably not going to get jump scared too much because most of the jump scares is really just the player kind of screwing up. So I would, but if you're playing it, it's not like
so
I
you're
tried to
like
play it
Ghostbusters in that game.
basically, yeah.
Okay.
I tried to play it myself, but the problem actually I had was I was uneasy because I didn't know what to do, and I was playing with people who were veterans, and they weren't very good at trying to tell me what to do. So they'd be like, "You can just stay in the truck," and I'd be like, "Well, that's boring. Nothing
Why didn't you play
happens
with your
in the
wife?
truck." I did, but we were playing with her and some other people
Oh.
that were like veterans of it on their streaming channel. It's a long story,
Okay.
and so
That
I
doesn't
just
sound
haven't
fun
really
at
gotten.
all.
Yeah, I just haven't gone back to it since. I just have no desire to. It's not my kind of game.
Talking
but
about Ghostbusters,
she has
did
a lot
you
of
watch
fun with
it? The new one, Afterlife.
No, I haven't. Although I know I probably should because my wife probably would love it. She's real big
Is
on
it
the nostalgia. I've heard for
None of us have seen
nostalgia
it.
fans it's good, but I don't know if it's good
I'm sorry,
by
what
itself.
fans?
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
People who are nostalgic, I guess it's good.
Okay.
I saw a spoiler about why if you're nostalgic you might like it, but as a standalone I think it's okay.
I heard almost nothing about it either way. I don't think anybody I know saw it.
It kind of just like
had some-
came and went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew some people who watched it and sung it praises, but they sung it praises from a nostalgia point of view.
Also,
So-
there's a bunch of kids. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Right?
Right.
A bunch of kids.
I don't think it's just kids. That's the thing. I think
There
other
is
people do.
Ant-Man. What's his
come
name?
in.
Jeez.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, sexiest man alive. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
sexiest man alive. Paul Rudd.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Paul Rudd, I love you.
Let's hope
But
he
yeah.
doesn't like. Let's hope we don't find out he eat babies or something.
I know, right? I'm just at this point. I'm just like, come at me.
So yeah, anything else that y'all did? Watched, played?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I really did anything else special.
Foe probably
unfortunately.
only can play on the Switch, I guess, with your busted PC.
Yeah, I didn't play anything. I did watch a show called The Righteous Gemstones, which is very good. It's Danny McBride, John Goodman, and a couple other people whose names I'm forgetting, and they are like mega church preachers, like they're like billionaires, and they've got dirty secrets that
It's
come
not
to bite
new,
them in
right?
the butt.
Danny McBride,
It's,
John Goodman.
it's ongoing,
Oh.
but it's on season 3. Or season 3 just ended or something
What's
like
the name
that.
of the show again?
The Righteous Gemstones.
Is it funny or like?
Yes, it's funny.
Okay.
It's mostly comedy, but there's a lot of drama. Because I think like the John Goodman character, like they all have their like things they're trying to deal with, like their own insecurities. So it's got some real moments, but it's mostly a weird comedy. I like it a lot. It's good.
All right.
But other than that, I didn't really watch much. I've been putting off, like every week I'm like, am I gonna watch The Matrix this week? And I haven't done it because I just don't want it to suck. And I'm pretty sure it's going to.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna feel about it. I watched it. My wife is the big Matrix fan. I watched them because she likes those movies. It is whatever to me. I will say that it's not very deep of a story, but I also don't know if the original Matrix stories were that deep. Like to me, it was about.
You to think they are.
That's the thing, and I think that's kind of what we watched was enjoyable, and it was enjoyable as like a bookend to the series, as like a happy ending. It was more kind of that, but if you were looking for a more deeper dive, you're not going to find it here. But I think it's about as deep as the original series. Like, I think nostalgia makes people... Because I watched the original trilogy, and it was good, but I don't think it's as nearly as deep as people like to think it is.
I was thinking of rewatching them, because I haven't watched them in like a decade, but I don't think
I can watch episode 2 and 3 anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Episode 1 is, it's a classic.
One's classic.
2 and 3.
Classic.
Nah.
Yeah.
I heard a big part of that is like episode 1, the difference between episode 1 and 2 and 3 in practical versus CGI effects is massive. And so like you get some kind of goofier stuff in the later episodes that they just had because like they could, not because they should.
Yeah, I don't know. I will, like I said, I think if you like the series and would like to see kind of a happy bookend based on what we got after Matrix 3, I think you'll like Matrix 4. They do try to do, I will say they do try to kind of have and I think it's actually a decent dichotomy between kind of like the new up and coming people versus like the older Neo kind of dichotomy, which I think is interesting. Again, I would go into it not taking it too seriously a little bit, and I think you'll find it a bit enjoyable. It's got decent action. The story is kind of like when you start watching the story, you're like, oh, this is the direction they're going in. Okay, but it is kind of trying to give it a more modern flair to it. But I actually quite liked the ending. I was surprised. They do a twist on the ending, not a big twist, but just a little twist on the ending. That I think. That I quite liked, given everything that happened in the first story. So I would just go in and not have high expectations of a deep storyline, and I think you'll be okay.
Okay. I may just watch The Kingsman instead, because I know it'll be bad, and maybe it'll have some fun action.
That's fair. Yeah.
I like Rafe Fiennes a lot.
You want to get into some news?
Sure.
Okay. So y'all know Team17?
Remind me.
I've heard the news, but remind me who Team17 is, because I always forget.
Indie devs, indie publishers. So they make, dev side, they make the Worms games. And publishing, they've published games like Yooka-Laylee, both Yooka-Laylees and like a bunch of other games. So they're not, they're not like nobodies or anything.
Yeah.
So they had like that NFT thing, and they announced they're gonna do NFTs, and within a day, all their partners like, we're not working with Team17 anymore. So
amazing.
And apparently I think all of the staff was also annoyed with because they knew only a little bit before the announcement was made, because honestly, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna fuck up. There's a reason why you didn't tell your staff early, right? And and a lot of people, and a lot of their staff got really angry because they got the brunt of the hate online because because the lowly QA person is the one that makes the decisions. We all know that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So after that, So they basically said, we're not doing NFTs anymore, like a day after, something like that. And
That's cool.
Eurogamer reached out to a bunch of staffers, both current and previous, and they talked about bad pay, bad working conditions, as in crunch, and just shitty management in general. I don't think that's abuse, so yeah,
Redundant.
I guess.
That's good. Yeah, just the
Such a
typical game
low
industry
bar.
stuff.
Oh, you don't abuse your stuff. Good for you,
know, right?
I guess.
Good for you, I guess.
Yeah, Jesus.
When we
fuck.
say abuse, you mean sexually, right? Because they still abuse them from like probably a
Yeah,
respect.
yeah. I mean, like
perspective.
sorry.
sexual or like physical, like, or like,
Oh,
you know, like,
much accounts of sexual abuse. I mean, of physical abuse. There's been a lot of sexual abuse.
like there's no farting in faces, I guess. I'm not.
That's physical,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
So yeah, that's the thing with Team17. Go check out Eurogamer's article on that. It's a pretty long
Yeah.
one. So yeah, Team17. I guess they were bored of like nobody talking about them. Maybe.
I
We
guess,
need
right?
Money.
That's what it always feels like with the stupid NFT stuff. Although there's some people that are wondering if there's just this big push in like Hollywood, especially to get actors on board with NFTs, because there's just a bunch of random actors who are suddenly into NFTs, and like whatever. I'm not saying they're good people, but it's just like weird how many are
It's
just suddenly
literally the
coming
same
out.
as like how the actors were talking about blockchain and Bitcoin back then. I mean, it's literally the same technology too, but just a
It is.
new name for the
Yeah.
same thing.
Somebody
Just trying to
was
Yeah.
raise
like
some
saying,
hype over
"Oh,
it.
if you own a website, you have an NFT." So you're saying this NFT is not
I
new,
know.
right? Is that what you're saying? It's like
I know, that's my favorite. Yeah, oh gosh.
I've heard of
They are
people
just
also using like if you so that I'm not super sure on this because I got secondhand information, but apparently there are some people trying to tie NFTs to actual physical things. So like buy this NFT of this piece of custom made jewelry.
oh
And I'm like,
gosh.
why don't you just buy the jewelry?
That's
get a receipt.
So funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's been a lot of like really bad. Yeah.
Apparently, you
it's
buy the
just-
custom made jewelry, you buy it as an NFT. The point is, it will go up in value, and then you can sell it as an investment.
Well, that's always
Whatever.
been the huge crypto bros idea of NFT. It's actually sad. There was an article I think in the Atlantic because the person who originally kind of invented the NFT actually had good intentions. And when you think about it, their intentions actually make sense. It was this idea that digital art did not have any natural scarcity versus physical art. And so it was originally meant to be a way to kind of help artists gain back control of their art by having this sort of, this kind of scarcity in place. It turned into this crypto bro investment pyramid scheme very quickly. And because the idea, like, because I always thought, I was like, well, actually, the idea kind of makes sense. It's just the way it's implemented, of course, is stupid. And what people are doing with it is horrendous. Stealing art and just making money
Stealing
off of it and all
art,
this stuff.
There's also like a company that just came up. So this is crypto in general. I think it's not an NFT thing, or I'm not super sure.
Yeah.
But like
That's fair.
people
Yeah,
just
crypto
coming
in
up with
general, yeah.
like companies and selling something and then just disappearing after making millions. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
So
But the whole But the whole investment angle is like
yeah.
what makes it practically a pyramid scheme.
yeah. So I'm not sure if you all know the YouTube channel called Folding Ideas.
I don't.
He does video essays, some really long, some really short. He basically
Yeah.
has a video essay on crypto and NFT, 2 hours. So go watch that if like, it's a long one, but Folding Ideas is a pretty good channel. I like it.
Yeah. It's gonna be informative for sure if it's 2 hours long.
Yeah. So I listened to it over a course of like a week, with bits and pieces. So yeah, that's a thing, I guess. NFTs, fuck.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's favorite voice actor is in NFT now. You know who, right?
No, he left.
But before he did try, we're talking about Troy Baker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm not sure
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
favorite. Yeah.
I know. I understand. Yeah, I know what you meant.
Because people are like, he was like, I'm gonna do NFT, and everybody was like, please don't. And he was like,
Yeah, and he doubled down.
he doubled down, yeah. But he left eventually, I guess.
He did. It broke apart. Yep. He's
okay.
he's
So
not doing it anymore.
It broke apart not because he finally realized it was wrong.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he still did not make an actual decent apology. Like, it sounds like it was more of from what I understand, and I could be totally wrong, it's not like I'm so sorry, I've realized what you have said and you are correct and this is a bad idea. If I read it right, I did not get that sense, but I didn't really pay too much attention. But the company he was trying to help, I don't know if he was founding it. Yeah, it's gone. Like, it's not a thing anymore. My guess actually is that he couldn't get like voice actors to sign on. A lot of voice actors are pretty independent.
I'm not
it's not like Hollywood actors.
Honestly, Troy Baker has always come off as an asshole to me. I'm not sure why. I mean, I know why people love him because of his roles, but he's always came off as an asshole.
Oh yeah, it's always been kind of like, he's cool because it's a voice actor we know, and I think, to be fair, I used to be a huge part of like the anime voice acting community where you do treat voice actors like movie stars, but they're not really as big as movie stars. And so Troy Baker was like one of the ones that did get to like true star status. But no, if I recall correctly, he was one of the guys that joked, not really, when it came to like talking about up and coming voice actors or something, or how to like get a decent job in voice acting, that he joked that you had to wait till he died or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he was joking, but
he is in everything.
Yeah, exactly. But like, that kind of thing. So yeah, I have no qualms that he's an asshole. And listen, I mean, I talk about like enjoying his voice, but he sounds the fucking same. So I don't know if I'd call him talented. He's got a recognizable voice, but I mean, I'd say it has range.
So yeah, and like we were talking about Critical Role just now, and it's like just a bunch of friends. It's kind of telling that a bunch of voice actor friends are all white. And it's just that's how the industry works, right? It's just, I don't know.
It's a huge unfortunate issue with the industry, and especially
am I still the
acting.
only one that is pissed off that what's his name? The guy who made Uncharted 4. The guy who makes all the Uncharted games. Neil Druckmann. Am I still the only one that is mad he casted a white lady for a black role? Am I still...
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like if it was happening now, people will be up in arms, but it happened only a few years before, so everybody's cool with it. Yeah. I guess the threshold is 2016, sure. I guess. I don't know.
I could see that. No, but it is true. It's because I think... One of the things, and I'm not trying to say it's not the voice actor's fault, because at the end of the day, they get to choose.
She was pretty big too. Laura Bailey, I think.
It's Laura Bailey. Okay, yeah, she's also on the Critical Role. Yeah, she's pretty big.
She basically is the type that can say no to roles, I guess.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems with voice acting, and it's just, quite honestly, it's just not, it needs to be a unionized community. I don't know if it is. But unfortunately, there's always just been this history of you often don't really quite know the part you're auditioning for, and even when you get it, you get very few details. There are still some like voice acting industries that do not give you enough details.
There's a crazy story about the voice actress for Alexa not knowing she was the voice of Alexa. She just went into the studio, recorded a bunch of ooh, ah, sounds, and they stitched the voice together. She's like, what the heck?
I mean, that's the whole secretive part, and also the whole... How much of it is because they don't want to pay these voice actors, because if you know it's going to be a big role, you can probably ask for more, right?
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of it too. But yeah, voice actors are notoriously known for being underpaid. Apparently the video game industry is a little better than the anime industry. But I couldn't tell you. I guess apparently the video game industry usually does a better job of being more forthright on things. The anime industry is notorious for not. I was guest handler for Steve Bloom one year. He's voiced Spike Siegel. He's Grunt in Mass Effect. He's a pretty up there, well-known one. And he had told a story about how he had to say no to a project, but he didn't really know till he started recording for them what it really was. And it sounds like he didn't really give many details. It sounds like it was a recording for probably like a hentai that was very graphic, and he didn't fully realize like what it was until because I think he was just told he was a monster or something, and then he finally like got in the recording booth to start recording lines, and it was like, and no, no thanks. Now, again, I'm not trying to say, like, for Laura Bailey, I'm not trying to say that she probably should have said no, quite frankly. And I do agree with you that it probably wasn't until, like, 2016 that people started, like, getting up in arms about it. But yeah, absolutely. It is a big problem. It absolutely is. And unfortunately, you're going to get voice actors who range opinions on, we don't have a face, so why does it matter? The best person should get it. To, like,
that's the whole...
well...
that argument is basically the whole... in a perfect world, every actor should be able to play any role, but we're not in a perfect world, are we?
Exactly. Well, that's the real problem. Is like, yeah, in a perfect world, people wouldn't care. Would be able to just do it based on like who was the best. We don't live in a perfect world. We have racism who can detect those things.
It wouldn't be a problem if they weren't all white. Like if it was an even mix, then anybody could play anybody. But when nobody's getting non-white casting, then it's a problem.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's the thing, I guess. The Sims 4 wedding expansion is going to be banned in Russia because of the gays. The gays are added again.
They have been added again.
The goddamn
Sims
gays.
has had gay relationships since like Sims 2.
Yes. So this is the thing. So Sims 4, you can always be gay since forever in any of the Sims games.
Yeah. Pretty much
from the Sims 1, you can be a gay couple,
maybe,
right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's in Sims 1. For sure, Sims 2. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure
Sims
as a
1.
kid, I made gay couples in Sims 1.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So Sims 4 wedding expansion is getting banned. Even though Sims 4 has always had gay stuff, this one is getting banned specifically because the marketing materials is using a lesbian couple.
Yeah, it's actually better than that. Have you seen the marketing?
No.
The video? Okay, it's actually even better than that. It's not just a lesbian couple. It's a whole... I don't even know if you can play this out in The Sims. It's a whole thing where a man and a woman are set to get married, and her maid of honor is secretly in love with her. And through the process, the woman decides that she doesn't want to marry the man anymore. She wants to marry the maid of honor, and so then goes through a wedding with the maid of honor.
In the same wedding?
Tapping into every Russian's fear.
So it's not just a lesbian couple. It's a woman rejected a straight coupling for a lesbian coupling. Okay. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I don't even think you can play this out in The Sims. I wish you could. That's amazing drama for funsies. But yeah, it's great.
Have you guys seen So there's a product in Japan. I think it's just called Lon Lon. It's like a licorice stick kind of thing.
Yes!
There's a series of commercials called Lon Lon Man. And if you watch all of the commercials, it's a saga.
Yeah.
That is a saga.
That's a really good one, yeah.
I did see that. That was so funny. Oh,
So
what a
good.
story. What
Japan's
a story.
like the best commercials. Super Bowl does not have commercials on in Japan.
Japanese commercials and Thai commercials are really good too. You should watch some Thai commercials. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. So good.
So yeah, next up is the Nintendo Direct. That's had a bunch of announcements that people were not.
Yeah.
The big one is Xenoblade 3. That's like the big one. So
now the
cool.
big one in my community was the Chrono Cross remake.
For me,
Remastered,
I'm most excited for Chrono Cross. The Chrono Cross remaster.
That was the big one in my community.
I'm not sure if it's going to come out on other systems. I've never heard of this remaster until this Nintendo Direct. So it could be a Nintendo funded thing. So it might be an exclusive, maybe?
I feel like it's an exclusive, but I could be wrong. Guess we'll have to see. I just see it's coming to Switch. That's the only thing I see
This is the first time I've heard about it. So yeah, Chrono Cross is getting a remaster. It's called the Radical Dreamers Edition, I think.
Yes,
and it's also coming with the Radical Dreamers
visual novel,
text-based
text adventure. Sorry, yeah. Text adventure. Yeah, I know. Never played it, so I'm kind of excited to see it.
Super cool.
I'm definitely gonna play Earthbound.
Wait, what?
I've never played Earthbound.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
You've never played Earthbound? Okay. You've never played Chrono Cross? Sarah?
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you haven't played. Because I remember you saying you...
No.
Okay.
I don't know what I was trying to say, but no, I've played Chrono Cross. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's... I'm most excited for that. Even though I've played it so much already.
I know.
And I also have it like on the Vita as a digital download and all that. So I'll probably just get it for the Switch again. Fuck it.
Whatever.
Advance Wars 1+2 is coming out in April. The Chrono Cross one is also coming out in April. Fire
Yes.
Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. So it's like the three houses, but Fire Emblem Warriors. So I think this is Sarah's
Yeah.
thing. You do like the
Yeah,
Warriors style games, right?
It is a match of things I would like. I'll see if I'm gonna get it or not. I've been so bad at keeping up with games, but yeah, it is technically something I would want to play. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I can't even remember what the genre is called. The Warriors games.
Muso
Musou
games.
Yes.
That kind of game.
So
Yeah.
it's releasing June 24th this year. No Man's Sky is coming out on the Switch, summer 2022. I'm not sure if it's
Somehow.
it's gonna run on the Switch. I guess. Maybe I'm not sure if you can build crazy bases, but we'll see. Another big one that people
crossplay.
got excited for is Mario Strikers.
I thought you said Portal.
No, the Mario Strikers got people interested. I've never.
This
played
is the
it, so-
first announcement of it, right? I don't think there was a previous.
think so.
yet. That one's coming out June 10th. Splatoon 3 showed off their 4-player horde mode. Splatoon 3 looks good. Front Mission First is getting a full remake, so I'm kind of excited for that because I did like the Front Mission games back on the PlayStation 1. We'll see. Disney has a free-to-play racing kart game called Speedstorm coming out later this year. Assassin's Creed Ezio Trilogy is coming out. Star Wars The Old Force Unleashed, the old game's coming out. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That one looked really cool. I love. So they showed off. This is not the first announcement for it, but they showed off Mouthful mode, where
Yes.
so you know how Kirby
Great
can just
game.
eat enemies and get their skills and stuff, right? So this one he
That's his
eats
main
cars.
defining quality.
He
Oh my gosh.
he eats entire cars and becomes like he doesn't turn into a car, but he becomes like a. He stretches out on top of the car and then you drive the car. It's so
Sounds
fucking cute.
Kind of worse.
It is
It
weird.
is.
I love it though.
The memes and the jokes have been so good
Yeah.
for it.
So that's
I mean, it
Mouthful
sounds like a
mode-
good
yeah.
game. My favorite Kirby game so far is Kirby Air Ride, so if there's a more Kirby vehicle game, sounds like it could be good.
So yeah, I'm excited for Kirby actually now. I kind of want to play that Mouthful mode thing. It's so weird and cute. I'm not sure if y'all know this game, but Klonoa 1 and 2 is coming out. It's a
The name is
Not-
familiar.
it's a retro platformer. It's a class, I think PlayStation 2.
Maybe not.
So that one's coming out on the Switch July. Portal 1 and 2 is coming out on the Switch later this year. No date yet. Nintendo Switch
I'm not going to
Sports.
play it again on the Switch, but I'm glad more people will play it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Such a good game, especially the co-op in 2. That was so good.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch Sports is coming out.
Yes.
Soccer, badminton, and volleyball. April 29th. Golf will be added later in the year. So yeah, more sports games using Joy-Cons. Live Alive. I'm not sure if you all know this game, but it's a pretty popular retro RPG where there's like you can make a lot of decisions and stuff. It's a really
okay.
popular game among like retro gamers, retro collectors,
okay.
and like because I'm not sure if it's been translated before, like officially. Let me see. 1994 role-playing games for the Super Famicom. Came out in Japan September 2nd, 1994. Worldwide release July 22nd, 2022. So it's first, like I think first actual official translation. There's definitely been fan translations for the game. So yeah, that's cool. It's been one of the games I've been wanting to try because it's apparently like you can make a lot of decisions in it.
Cool.
What else? Metroid Dread is coming with like new content that's free, I believe. Earthbound, Lego Brawls, so like a Super Smash kind of game, but it doesn't use like that meter. It uses HP. Yeah.
Okay.
And Lego Brawls do not. I don't remember seeing any like other properties as Lego characters. So like I didn't see
Oh.
like Indiana Jones or Batman or anything.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm not
Okay.
sure
A
what's
little
the
less-
pool there.
A little less exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little less exciting.
I want to see like Harry Potter fight Star Wars.
Exactly. Yeah.
You think that would be like,
That would make them so much
But-
money. Like making like a
but also it
Smash
sounds
like
pretty
Lego
expensive
game.
to get, I guess, maybe.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Whatever.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting remastered courses as DLC. You can buy all 48 courses as a pass. For 20. Wait. So $25. I know they're launching in waves, and first wave is 8 courses, 48 courses in total. I'm not sure $25 get you all 48 or only the 8.
Ooh. There's a big
Yeah,
difference.
that's a big difference. That's a lot of $25 if it's not the whole thing.
Yep.
So yeah, Chrono Cross. That's my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kirby will be number 2. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
That was a surprisingly good Nintendo Direct, honestly.
Yeah. I had to watch it after, unfortunately, but yeah, there was a lot of really cool announcements.
You want to wrap up or you want to?
Yeah.
One big story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trailer for Wolf Among Us.
Oh,
2.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I did.
Haven't seen-
Yeah, I didn't know that Telltale was still around. I thought they were completely gone.
Someone
were.
reopened them.
Yeah.
They were gone. Someone raised it from the dead somehow.
Wow.
And well, it's coming out. It's being made.
Well, I'm glad for this IP. This is my favorite one. Maybe not my favorite game per se, but my favorite IP.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody bought, but I think a bunch of the devs are no longer there, right?
I don't know.
I don't
to be
probably
honest
not,
with you.
Yeah. Didn't they have like a lot of problems, not just money problems?
Like a lot of their head writers left kind of early,
Oh.
which was a problem for a
Yeah.
storytelling game.
Yeah, for sure.
Company.
I think a lot of the problems were kind of like got kind of too big for its britches kind of thing. Like it just grew way too fast and was putting way too much money in improper places, which caused like crunch and issues with the staff.
Right.
So I think it's kind of the same old song and dance. It's just that the money financial was a big driver of it, from what I understand.
So
but I could be wrong.
so
Maybe
they're
there
gonna
were.
do
They
it-
did kind of flood the market with a lot of similar games.
Yes.
So they're gonna do
Yeah.
it. Oh yeah, and they kept getting like new IPs, right, to work on.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
because I was one of my coworkers who's an ex-Telltale guy, and he was saying the problem was, anytime you have like season 2 of a like Walking Dead season 2, it like basically by definition it can't sell more copies than season 1. Because no one's gonna buy season 2 who didn't play season 1 for the most part. So
That's
it behooves
right,
them to
yeah.
just start new IPs because that's where the new markets are.
Interesting.
Which I don't know that I agree with. I mean, that logic makes sense, but there's
Yeah.
also something to be said for establishing a more dedicated fan base.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, other medias, such as movies, don't work on that kind of idea. And other games, even, they're able to make it work where it's sequels, but something
When-
like that, I guess, I don't
When
know.
there's a big enough time gap between the two, or they're not like as story driven, then I think it can work.
That's fair, yeah. Because I think of Phoenix Wright, and that Phoenix Wright was, the way they created the games was making it so that you could play the old games, but a lot of people were new to the series with some of the later games. But it's
I
different.
think
It's different.
People, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but people like would assume that Walking Dead season 2 you couldn't play without playing season 1, and I
Right.
would argue that it's probably actually is true.
That probably is true,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, would you say that's true for Mass Effect? Like, could you play Mass Effect 3 if you skipped 1 and 2?
I
You
skipped one.
technically can.
I skipped 1, and 2
Yeah,
was great.
One.
I
Wow.
I wouldn't, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
but
it
you
seems crazy to
could.
me.
Yeah, you could especially play 2 without playing. I think it's a
Dark
horrible
Souls
idea
you
to
could
skip one, but
doesn't matter.
yeah, Dark
I
Souls.
mean,
you
it
can skip,
depends
yeah.
on the game, but yeah, I don't
It
know. I don't
does,
know how
yeah.
customers determine ahead of time whether or not they think they can start
Yeah.
with it.
But I do see his point though that I mean that is
Yeah.
probably very common. So
Like Witcher
yeah.
3. I played Witcher 3. I haven't played 1 and 2. Didn't seem to matter.
yeah, I heard it really doesn't. You get some special dialogue, but
So the only thing is they're gonna do it episodic again, which is whatever, I guess. But I would prefer they went with the was that other game that just came out, Life is Strange 3.
yes,
They stopped
Yep.
doing it episodic, right?
I think it all came out at once. Yes,
Yeah, I was
it was still
kinda- I was kinda
episodic,
hoping
but
they
it
were-
came out yeah. So
Yeah. Oh well. Excited for that too. Love the Wolf Among Us one. Such a good game.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's wrap up.
all right. This is Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I'm basically on Twitter at this time, so just hit me up there and say hi.
And I'm Foehamner, and I just made an Instagram account. There's one post, and it has nothing to do with video games. and we'll see how often I post. There may never be another post. We'll see.
Is it toy stuff?
So far, it's just the one toy thing, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you. Is
it'll
it
probably be
Foehamner?
toy stuff for a while. Yeah, it's Foehamner.
Okay. Yeah, my Instagram is also just like toys and cat, mostly toys. And I'm Pupunoob, Pupunoob on Instagram, I guess. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see a bunch of Transformers shit. So yeah, that has been episode 191 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.